member, let me give them something. Let me give them a free coaching. Let me give them a free access to an event, or let me give some sort of exclusivity to all our silver members. Let's do some sort of silver ambassador event or conference, or maybe it's a free shirt. Like you hit silver, I send you a free shirt. Hands the camera if you'd like a free shirt for bringing 10 people onto the platform. That sounds like a good win. Awesome. I mean, you're going to do it anyway, right? You're going to share it anyway with people. So might as well get, and I see Melissa nodding her head. I've seen you using your link, Melissa. I can see like how many people are sending out invitations. So let's give Melissa Baker a round of applause. Kevin Pereira, by the way, just hit 5. He's 5, bronze status 5. So I love seeing it. Let's mute those mics. And Terry, if you could bring more people into the room. Kevin, I'm going to make you a co-host as well, because Darina is downstairs at Master of Influence, which is, by the way, fantastic. I got to see Dr. Terry Wager last night just crush it with his hypnosis show, and Doug has been destroying it all day, just absolutely killing and slaying this whole mindset thing around NLP. People are learning words that are allowing them to explode in their business, like just changing the way they say something, changing the way they stand, their posture, their energy is having massive effects. In fact, we were doing a session yesterday that allowed someone to, without words, let the other person know what they were thinking. And energy was transferring across the room. And I did the session with Darina, and at the end, I was like, well, whatever it was, you were very excited for a little while, then you were nervous, and then you were excited again, and then you were like really happy. And she said, yes, that's exactly what it was. Turns out she was riding a roller coaster in Busch Gardens. Hands to the camera if I was close, right? I could see why that would be exciting, a little nervous, exciting. So today's wealth principle, actually, welcome back to the 52 Weeks of Wealth. My name is Walter Morello, the real estate mentor. And as you see on your camera right now, these are all of the students in the Alchemist Nation. We are here to learn each week one of the 52 wealth principles. Now, these wealth principles, I didn't just stumble across. I studied over 350 books. I spent over $130,000 on coaching. I traveled all across the country from 2017 to 2019. When COVID hit, I decided I was going to go hard into building more other people. In fact, we built the mission to build 100 millionaires who are inspired to build 100 millionaires. Now, it was important to me to become a millionaire before I started that. And so at 30 years old, I was financially free. At 32, I was a millionaire. And at 34, I was a multi-millionaire. At 34, I decided it's time to start paying it forward and giving back. Hands to camera if you commit to, when you become a millionaire, to paying it forward, going out and teaching some others. Excellent, excellent. So then we're in the right room. We're teaching the same things. Wealth principle 1, we're starting from the beginning. By the way, last week was wealth principle 52, sharpen the saw, which is a powerful principle. It ties all of the other 52 principles together. This week, we're starting with wealth principle 1. And wealth principle 1 is think a million. The first step, next week, we're going to talk about your business must be able to make $1 million. I'll go deeper into that. But for this week, this is the #1 principle, because without it, you will never be a millionaire. Without the mindset of a millionaire, you can never achieve $1 million status. Now, there may be people watching us, I know, especially on Facebook, people think $1 million, I don't want to be rich. I don't want to make $1 million. I just want to be happy. I just want to be able to, not have to work again. Well, shit, you got to start there, right? You can't build $1 million business if you got to go to work every day. So the first step is financial freedom. Remember the process I just gave you. At 30, I was financially free. At 32, I was a millionaire. It took me 2 years from financial freedom to become a millionaire. And at 34, I was a multi-millionaire. You see how fast that happened? The first million is a bitch. The first million is hard. The first million is hell. The second million is inevitable. The second million is easy, right? My net worth is over 4 million right now. I'm 35 years old. Just think about, and I know some of you are a little older than me. Some of you are a little younger than me. I just want what I've created to be a guide. It's like, okay, it's possible from 30 years old. Well, I really started at 28. So we would iceberg effect. From 28 to 35, 7 years, he was able to build $4 million worth of net worth. Hands to camera if you'd commit the next 7 years to building $1 million, right? The next 7 years, even if it only took 7 years to build 1 million, it would be worth it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Come on now. So how do we think a million? What are the processes? What are the steps to doing this? And I hope, please let me tell this story so I can convey how important this principle is. I was in a room, a Zoom room just like this. There were less people in the room. There were only about 20 of us. And there was a billionaire, that's B, billion with a B, in the room. And he was the speaker. And I had an opportunity to ask him a question. He opened the mic. My hand was the first up. He said, I'm going to open the mic so you can ask some questions. I was like, boom, me, let's go. I've got the important question. Nobody else in here has got the guts to ask this. And I said, how do you visualize, how do you get your mind to desire to come up with the strategy for $1 billion? And he said, wow, that's a very good question. I wish more people asked that. He said, there's 3 steps. Are you interested in hearing what those 3 steps are from a billionaire? This is not millionaire. By the way, a billion is 1,000 millions. So if I can teach you the steps of thinking a billion, is it possible that we would learn the steps to think a million? Is it very possible that if we just aimed at the same steps that work for billionaires, it would work for millionaires? Yes, I agree with you. So what he told me, step 1, is you must believe it's possible. You must believe in your core, and don't ignore this. I see a couple people turned away, looked away like, oh yeah, whatever. Because look, that's the easy one to ignore, but it's the only one you need. If you believe it's possible for you, by the way, not for me, the bald white guy in America, in Florida right now, like for you, right, wherever you're at, you have to believe it's possible for you. So his step was, you've got to believe it's possible. You got to see it. You got to know what it looks like. You got to want it, right? If you don't want it, like, well, you'll never get it. Has anybody ever had somebody who wanted to go out with them, but you were like, I'm not attracted to that person? Has anybody like been, somebody was interested in them, but you do not want that person at all? You find excuses to get away from it, right? Well, it's the same thing. Has anybody ever really, really wanted to spend some time with somebody? Like you had a really good friend or somebody you really want to spend time with, and you love them so much, you just do whatever it took to get there? Yes, you find a way to spend time with that person. It just attracts. So it's the same thing with money. You've got to believe it's possible for you, and you've got to want it. You've got to believe you're a good person to go get it, right? You're going to do something good with it. You can't feel like money's evil, right? If you're going around thinking money's evil, money's going to run away from you. It's evil, right? I can't be next to you. It would hurt you, so I got to run. So 1, think it's possible. Believe it's possible. Know it's possible for you. And then the second thing he said it's got to be sexy. Now, what he means is it's got to be something other people would invest in. Not just you, but other people would invest in. Other people want what you're building. Other people have to want it, right? When we think of the word sexy, me and Terry were kind of chopping this up earlier. He said, sexy is kind of like, what does it mean? What does it mean? It doesn't say anything. So for everybody here, I'll explain it. First, you think a million. Well, or he was talking about thinking a billion. But then it has to be something that people would invest $1 million in, right? Like if I walked around and I said, I've got a property that is worth 10 times what I'm about to pay for it, would you invest? And if you know, that's a very good deal. It's a 10 times return, right? Those are rare. But let's say I had a property that was worth $1 million and I was paying $2 million for it. Would you invest in that? No, that's insane. It's crazy, right? It's a terrible idea. And yet this is what I see every day. I see real estate investors going out and I see them getting something under agreement for, we'll say $300,000 and then attempting to raise capital on it, but it's only worth $320,000. It's not attractive to the investor. We're getting this? It's not sexy. Like why should I invest? Oh, you're going to give me 8% interest? I'm not interested. All right, like what's the ROI here? I'm going to lose money. There's a good chance that money could be lost. But if you were going out and you said, I've got $1 million project that I'm buying for $600,000 and I'm only putting $100,000 in, 30% return on investment. We're getting this at 30% to ARV, the 70% rule. Sorry, 70% ARV. So like there's a lot of meat on the bone, man. Everybody's going to want to invest. It's sexy, right? We can make money, and the project is going to look so amazing at the end. Right now it's this beat up house. At the end, it's going to be granite countertops. It's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be great layout. It's going to improve the neighborhood. So you get these two reasons that it's sexy. One is a return on investment, and two, the building is going to be a really cool project. We can talk about it afterwards. We can say we did things. Sometimes people will invest with you just because they want to say they did. They want to say they did that project. They want to say they got into a deal like that. They did a flip. Hands again for catching this. It's got to be sexy. Yes. So think a million. Think a million. Step one. Out of all 52 weeks, I spend an entire week talking about thinking bigger. And for some of you, my millionaires, I know who you are. You are not thinking a million anymore unless you want to shift it down to $1 million a quarter or $1 million a month, right? If you want to shift it down to earned income of $1 million, right? Because step one, this is, by the way, the book of the week. Dr. Terry, you don't have the book, neither of us. We're at hotels right now. Does anybody have the book of the week with them? This is the Millionaire Real Estate Investor. No. Anybody? Book one? It's all right. All right. I'll go over it really quickly since Mike Shine's not here. He is in the event right now. He's in with Doug actually learning. By the way, we all do it. All of us millionaires, we keep learning. Gary Keller is a real estate. There she is. Jamie Tatro's got it. Let's give Jamie Tatro a round of applause. Jamie, you're up. Unmute your mic and share with us, girl. Let's give the beautiful, the intelligent Jamie Tatro a big round of applause. Give her some encouragement. She's about to get on the camera and share the millionaire real estate investor by Gary Keller.
I've been with you for like maybe 2, almost 3 years now. And this is like one of the very first books that I read. So between this book and the other 300,000 books that I've read, there may be some mixing of principles and ideas in here, but yeah, so you would have to be the one to talk about this book. It hasn't been one that I've read recently, though.
All right, let's give Jamie Tatro a round of applause. She did read it, and for me, it was one of the most pivotal books. That's why I made it the first book, because I want everybody in this community to go through this book. He talks about the 4 steps to $1 million. The first step, which is why this is number 1, is think a million. A multi-millionaire is saying the same thing that a billionaire is saying, the same thing that I'm saying. First, you must think a million. The next step is you must buy $1 million. This is for real estate investors. You must buy $1 million worth of real estate. That doesn't mean a net worth. The second step is buy the real estate. So it means if the real estate's worth $1 million, buy that $1 million. The third step is net worth of $1 million. Net worth of $1 million. So you may have to buy another $1 million or 2 worth of real estate to get that net worth, to get that equity of $1 million. Hands to the camera for catching this. Yes, excellent. Step 4, which is why I was teasing Melissa just now. Step 4 is earn $1 million. Earn $1 million in a year, which can be done through flips. It can be done through doing projects like agency, building out your company, building out your team, marketing, sales, education. There's a lot of different ways to earn $1 million. But that's the 4th step. The first step, and this was Gary Keller, he wrote this down in the book. He said the first step is to think $1 million. You must first think about $1 million. Hey, have you ever met a millionaire who wasn't saying I'll be a millionaire? I have never met one. Right? I know a lot of millionaires. This phone is made up of millionaires. I've never met one who didn't think it was possible. Ever. But I met a lot of people who don't think it's possible, and guess what? They're right. Right? Whatever you believe, you will go after. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you'll be right. The universe will find a way to fulfill what you believe about yourself. So you must think $1 million. Now, the third thing, we're going back to the billionaire. The third thing he told me is, because you remember the order of this. First, he said, you've got to believe in yourself. Second thing he said, you've got to make something sexy. It's got to be attractive. It's got to make money. There's got to be a strong desire behind doing it with you. And the third step is you've got to go and communicate it. You've got to communicate your vision. We were just talking about this with Kevin Pereira a little while ago with his wholesaling business. You've got to communicate your vision. We were talking about Alchemist Nation with Julie Bradley. She said, how do I, let people know about the platform? And it's free, right? We're putting out free education. We're connecting you with our community of millionaires, of mentors for free. You've just got to go to alchemistnation.com and join. Just create your account and then ask questions. How do I become a millionaire? Well, what do you do with stocks? What do you do with crypto? What do you do with real estate? 3, you've got to communicate your vision. Hey, this is what I'm looking to do. Somebody, if you go out on Alchemist Nation and say, this is what I'm looking to do, somebody's going to answer a question. In fact, Kevin Pereira did it yesterday. Somebody jumped in. He was a wholesaler. He said, I want to sell houses in Atlanta. Kevin's like, where? What part of Atlanta? Boom, solved the problem. We're money makers in Alchemist Nation. We make money. If you jump on there and you say something, we'll find a way to make money with it. And you will make money, right? Because we will go morally, ethically, and legally. Everything we do is moral, ethical, and legal, right? So step 3 is you've got to tell people about it. You've got to communicate, right? All the money. If I don't want to lose anybody here, because as soon as I say you got to communicate, people are like, oh, I don't want to do that. It's work, right? Logging off of this one. This sounds like work. Okay, I've got to go tell. I want the one where I just invest money and money comes back to me. Well, you got to have money first, right? If you don't have any money, this strategy works. Hence the camera. If you know somebody who's got no money to start, right? And maybe you're gonna go teach them after this. It's not me, it's a friend of mine, right? I'm just here for a friend of mine. We're gonna learn. Hence the camera, if you want to make more money this year. Yes. Hence the camera, if you want to do it with less work. All right, that's the truth. Let's be real about it. We are lazy people. We want more with us doing less. That's okay, because that's how the world works. It's not about how hard you work, it's about the value you deliver. That's why the richest people on the planet are sitting at home on yachts, because they got platforms doing all the work for them, right? Mark Zuckerberg's got Facebook out there grinding for him. He created it, so he deserves all the money. He set it up, right? And now it's delivering value. Hands down if you use Facebook. If you have used Facebook ever, yes? You got a Facebook account. Hands down if you used Amazon, if you ever delivered something to your house. Yes, absolutely. Hands down if you ever used Netflix, right? You entertained yourself on the Netflix. Of course you have. We all have. We have friends and family who have. We're all touched by it. These platforms are delivering value to us. We are receiving value from them, and so we pay them money. So it's not but I've never met Bezos, right? I never met Elon Musk. I don't even know who runs Netflix, right? These guys are delivering to us without us ever having a conversation about them doing any physical work. Are we getting this? This is how millionaires think, right? This is how billionaires think. How do I create something that adds value to so many people, but doesn't involve me? Eventually, in the beginning, they know they have to be involved to frame it out to, like I was telling Kevin earlier, to paint the vision. Or with Alchemist Nation, my goal with the whole platform is I want free education for the world. I want the world to be able to go on to Alchemist Nation and become millionaires. I'm on a mission to build millionaires and inspire millionaires to build millionaires. So I bring in mentors. I bring in people who are already millionaires and ask them to create programs for free to pay it forward. Hence, Karen, if you're catching this in my mission, it's like a virus. It's like a cure to the virus. It goes out there and it's like actually, okay, it's not a virus. I was talking to Ron the other day. Bacteria can grow anywhere. A virus has to grow in a host. So we're more like a bacteria, a good thing that keeps exploding and expanding, like a plant that plants its seeds and keeps taking on more ground, where the birds pick it up, pass it along to somewhere else, and it keeps multiplying. Hence, Karen, if you recognize that if one millionaire goes out there with this mindset and they touch a couple other millionaires, they're going to then pass it along. Just like any kind of good education, any kind of good message, just like a song that you've once played and shared with a friend. Who's ever shared a great song or poem or story or book with somebody else? It just hit you and you said, I got to share this. Becoming a millionaire is like that. That's why you see me doing these calls, right? I'm like screaming from the top of the roof. I'm like, you've got to try this. You've got to try this millionaire thing. You got to get some of your own. Because once you get there, one of the reasons I push the mentorship and I tell people you've got to get in now, because a lot of people will say, well, I'll jump in next week. And I'm like, dude, next week, I couldn't imagine not being a millionaire for an entire extra week, right? Because it may take you 3 years to do this, but once that 3 years is over, every week that you are a millionaire, you are a freaking millionaire, right? You do whatever you want, whenever you want, with whoever you want. You couldn't take a week from me. Like, no way. I wouldn't give it up. Now, if I didn't have it, would I put in every second of my day to get it back? Yes, because I know what it's like. I know what it's worth. I want it back, right? This is my life. This is what I've earned, right? And your status a millionaire, your accredited investor status starts with you thinking a million. It starts with you realizing how important it is, realizing how possible it is for you. I don't care what age you are. Man, I keep getting told, oh, well, I'm 60. So for me, it's just, I don't have a lot of time now to do it. So I need to do it differently, or I really need to like figure it out. And it's like, dude, I always, always, always had time, right? I started when I was 28, right? I had plenty of time ahead of me, but in my head, I didn't. I started with the same mindset that a 6-year-old starting with, man, like, I don't got time. And this is what I tell the 6-year-olds, because this is the problem. Like, they're moving cautiously. They're just researching, thinking, let me think about it. Let me think about it. It's like, dude, like, you don't have time to think about it. I did. I had time, and I still chose to just take action. Right? I had time I still have time. Shit. I got 30 more years till I'm 60. 25 more years till I'm 60 to figure out the $1 billion strategy, right? But I'll nail that in the next 3 years, because it's easy once you understand, think what you want and want it bad enough. I'm thinking about saving billions of people. I'm thinking about like serving billions. And so I have to become bigger, right? I need to find the developers, right? I need to attract in the virtual assistants who are willing to share my message, which you can see on the call right now. Let's give my team a round of applause. I love you guys. Thank you so much for everything you do to connect with more people, right? My millionaires, my mentors, my coaches, my guides. Let's give them a round of applause. Everybody out there who's donating their time, who's volunteering. Kevin Pereira, Terry, Kim, let's see who else we got. Even Julie, our bookkeeper, like serving, saving people, help people, showing people the way. Mark, our affiliates, people out there who are just pushing and saying, hey, look, this is what we do, right? Everybody on this call has a chance to make money today. Everybody on this call. If I want to make more money, I pick up the phone and I tell somebody about my $1 million idea, whatever it is. Pick up the phone, tell somebody else with the $1 million idea. Julie Bradley, Kim Possible just like raised a ton of money in a deal in West Virginia. She doesn't live in West Virginia. She lives multiple states away, but she flew down, she tied it up. She came up with a great, beautiful, sexy vision that people can buy into, and she's selling it. And now she owns the property. And now she's doing the renovation. She's getting involved with the city. She's figuring it out because she thought a million, multi-million. That's not $1 million deal. She thought multi-million. And then she went and she did it. Hands Karen, if you know you could think a million. You're thinking a million right now. All right, we're going to go through a quick exercise. And then I'm going to go downstairs because there's an event happening right now. I am missing out to teach you guys an event that I want to be in called Master of Influence. I want to be a part of that. Darina is down there right now. Doug is down there right now. Mitch, Mike, the other Mitch, Ryan, they're all in the room right now. Me and Dr. Terry Wager are donating our time to make sure that you guys are getting this. And I'm thankful that we're here. There's 55 people on the call right now. So let's give you a round of applause for being here at the same time with us. So we're gonna make this one a little bit shorter than normal so I can go downstairs. Who'd be interested in a tour to see everybody right now who's at the live event? Who'd like to go downstairs and see everybody? There's 35 people in the room. It'd be all right, it'd be cool. All right, so maybe we'll do that. Okay, so I'll set up, that's why I set up my camera, my phone over here. Before we do, I want you to go to alchemistnation.com. Go to alchemistnation.com and create your free account. Create your free account. You're going to be asked if you want to go in with Facebook or Google. It doesn't really matter. Just choose one. Type in your email address, whatever is best for you. I'm going to drop it in the chat right now, alchemistnation.com. Do not use the W's. If you use the W's, for some reason, the link doesn't work. But the rest of the site is fantastic. So once you get there, oh, thank you. Let's give Diana a round of applause. She dropped in the chat for you guys. Thank you, Diana. Appreciate you. And Diana, if you go to the invite section, the member section invite, you can actually get your own link so that you can become an ambassador, so that you can start getting into that bronze area and then get that silver, and then Darina just hit gold. So I want to see each one of you guys inviting people using your own links so we can track it. We can say, oh, look, this person's really contributing to the community. This person's paying it forward. This person's bringing a team in here. And later on down the road, there might be prizes connected to that because I want to pay it forward. I want to help the people who are helping us with this mission. That's why the mission's so attractive. So you go to alchemistnation.com. There's a free course in alchemistnation.com right now. And that free course that we just put up is, let me see, it's still secret. It's still set a secret, still set a secret. Yep, secret, secret, secret. Excellent. So the free course I'm going to give you is building a course on Alchemist Nation. So if you're somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who is a coach, who's a millionaire, or you're a specialist, like Kevin Pereira could totally teach how to do cold calling. Julie Bradley could totally teach how to do accounting. Go and take the course and run it by somebody. If you know somebody who's an influencer, Kim Possible could literally teach how to create your own business. She had a little brown barn, right? Like teach how to build a business. Melissa Baker can teach how to be a real estate agent, how to close more deals, how to build a team. Hands can't for catching this. All I'm asking is that you pay it forward. All I'm asking, look, you don't got to be a millionaire to go and create a course that you're a specialist in. If it would help somebody on the path to becoming a millionaire, if you're a tax specialist and you want to help somebody, if you're a coder, you want to help somebody, you're a social media expert, you want to help somebody. Look, if it would help somebody make more money, I'm asking, hey, do what I'm doing right now. I'm taking the time. Now, of course, I got the time, right? Because I don't have to work anymore. So I do understand I got a little more time than everybody. And that's my unfair advantage. That's why I create a ton of content. But if you got some time and it would help you and build your business, if you've got to train people anyway, I'm asking for a little bit of content from you. Is that cool? Awesome. And if you know somebody who needs a little extra free content, a little extra education, but they don't want to pay for it, hook them up. Be that person who says, look, I get it. And if you want a course that we don't have yet, just text me, right? Send me a message inside Alchemist Nation. You go to my name, go to my profile. That's me responding. Send me a message. If there's a course you think is missing, shoot me a text. We'll figure out how to get that course on there. I promise. That's my commitment. If there's a course that you want, if there's a lesson, a thing that you want more of, I will make sure that you have it on the platform. Hands to camera, if you commit to ask me for something this week, yes? Each one of you on the call, I don't care if I pay you, if I don't pay you, if you don't like me, if I like you, if you don't like it, if you don't know somebody in here, like it doesn't matter. Send me a message, say, I'd like to see this course on the platform. This is something I would like to learn. Now give me time, because I just asked 54 people to do that. I'm hoping that some of you overlap, but ask me so that I can get started today, right? If you don't ask me today, I won't know until you do eventually ask me. Hands can, if you commit to ask me something, ask me for some sort of question so that we can help you build $1 million or something that would get somebody forward. Thank you. That's a genuine thank you from me to you. Right? Oh, Mike Shine jumped in. Mike is here. Let's give Mike Shine a round of applause. To our coaches who are all growing and moving to the next level. So while I walk downstairs, I want to give pass it over to Dr. Terry Wager. Dr. Terry, do you mind sharing your take on Think a Million? How to think a million?
Absolutely. Thanks for your lead here today. One of the big things that I was actually talking to Walter about this morning is when we're talking about Think a Million, it's the belief. It's that one thing that we all need. And most people believe that $1 million's possible. Most people believe because they've seen other people do it that $1 million's possible or $1 billion's possible. The problem is they don't necessarily believe it's possible for themselves. And so, yes, I believe it's possible. I believe Walter can do it. I believe Terry could do it. I believe Mike Shine could do it. I don't know if I can do it. And what happens is we start to doubt ourselves. And that's one thing Doug is talking about this morning at Master of Influence. He's going through idea of doubt causing us problems. And when we start doubting ourselves, what we start doing, second guessing. And then as Christine and I talk about bullet train action, the biggest problem that people have when they're getting on the track to $1 million is they start to hesitate. They start to slow down. They actually get out in front of their train and start throwing trash on the track, coming up with problems, coming up with reasons why they can't do it. And it's because they're so busy knowing that it's possible for other people but they don't see themselves able to do it. It's a belief issue within themselves that they too can take the same actions and get the same results. They have a problem with this idea of changing the picture in their mind. They have, and we talked about this last night with the hypnosis show that I did. We have pictures in our mind of ourselves, whether it's a certain size that we are, a certain way we communicate with people, how we are in relationships, how we are with a relationship with money. We have that picture in our mind, and that picture we always move towards. If you change the picture in your mind, if you change that visualization in your mind, you start to move towards the new picture. So don't pick a worse picture. You want to make sure that you pick the picture of what you want to be doing. And so visualizing yourself as the millionaire, as the billionaire, visualizing yourself with a team that works the way you want it to, visualizing your vision coming through, being able to see it, being able to describe it clearly, being able to share it with other people. One of the things when I start working with bigger companies and entrepreneurs that I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, but I work with bigger companies too. And the first thing we do is revisit their vision, revisit their mission, revisit their values that go into their vision and mission, and really make sure that they're clear, that they have perfect clarity around it. Because if you don't have clarity, it's very difficult to really get what's happening. And now we see Walter in there in Master of Influence. You want to take it away, Walter?
Can I interrupt for a second? Ladies and gentlemen, we're here live at Master of Influence. Let's give him a round of applause. 52 weeks to wealth. Wealth principle number one. $1 million. Chance to care if you're thinking $1 million right now. Yes, yes. Doug McGurk has been giving us a ton of information. Doug, if you could give somebody one tip to think $1 million using all the knowledge you've been giving from this NLP Master of Influence course, what would that one tip be?
Seek and ye shall
Find. Freeze. They lost the internet connection. So, unfortunately, that's the preview you get. So, when we're talking about thinking $1 million.
Thank you.
Are you back?
There you go. There you go. And then there was blood everywhere. So I don't know what.
Everywhere.
It was carnage. Yeah. Seek and you shall find, ask and you shall receive. If you do not look for the deals, if you do not ask for the deals, you shan't get the deals. If you do not seek, do not visualize, do not create the millionaire status in your mind, in your heart, in your soul, you will
not create it. So you're muted, Walter.
Dr. Terry, if you can close these guys out, I'm going to let you get back to what I'm going to let Doug get back to what we were doing in there. So how much of that did we get to hair?
We got most of it. Seek and ye shall find.
Seek and you shall find. Good enough.
Visualize. And that's what I was saying. And I'll finish what I was saying very, very simply. When you can see yourself creating that million, when you can see yourself creating that team, when you can see yourself doing all of those things, picture it, make it vivid, make it real in your mind, and you will grow towards it. And it all starts with you. Back to you, Walter.
Absolute truth. Hands to the camera if that makes sense. If you guys are getting something from us. Awesome. Excellent. So there's 55 people on the call. Each one of you has a desire to become a millionaire. Each one of you has the ability. Some of you already are millionaires. You're going to the next level. Reason that we get together every single week is because each one of these principles is designed to build us to the next level.
So if you're looking to earn your first 50,000, you're looking to earn your first 100,000 or 250,000 or 1,000,000 or 500,000 or 2,000,000, then each year you go into the 52 wealth principles. You follow us through these 52 weeks to wealth, and we will double your net worth. We will double your income. 1 week at a time, one principle at a time. People try to do it too fast. It takes 3 to 5 years to become a millionaire following this process. Now, can people do it faster? Of course. They're the unicorns, right? We're not, the system isn't built to say, hey, you'll become a millionaire in 1 year. But we do have those people. We do have the Ryan McDermotts who did it, who came in with a higher net worth. We do have the Melanie Santos. We do have the Dorena Gomez. We do have the Dr. Terry Wagers, right? We do have champions who came in who were close, who were already on their way, who were almost there, who did it. But then we've got the Ryan McDermotts who just want to quit their job, who just want to get out, right? We got Julie Bradley who 10x, 10 times her revenue since being a part of the group. So it's not necessarily about making $1 million this year, but it is possible for you to make $1 million in the next 2 to 3 years, 3 to 5 years. And scan if you recognize it's possible for you. Step one is think $1 million. If I have gotten you thinking $1 million today, then I have gotten you ready and primed for the rest of the year. This is a 52-week process, a year-long process. I'm committed to you. I will be here with you. Me, Terry, Ryan, Mitch, Doug, all of us, Mike, some of our millionaires who are in the room right now will be here supporting you. Hands to the camera if you're committed to supporting yourself, to showing up, to being here, right? Getting on the bullet train of action, jumping into Alchemist Nation. Join the mentorship, ask for help. Any one of us, whether you pay us or not, is willing to support. Now, if you pay us, we support on a higher level. If you don't pay us, we support no matter what, regardless. Does that make sense? Right? We're creating systems. Every year, we create more systems. Alchemist Nation is filled with courses that we've been creating over the last year. We share, we guide, but you've got to want it bad enough. You've got to, like Julie does want it, Melissa wants it, Bella wants it. Everyone you on the call, I can see, has a strong desire. Desiree wants it, right? Kevin Pereira is crushing. You can see it in every activity he's doing. Annie wants it. Mark wants it. Alicia wants it. Olivia wants it. Kim for sure wants. She wants to give it back, right? Like this is the kind of people we got on the call. I can see Masood when he's typing out his post. He wants it, right? Aline putting the effort out there, dealing with the haters on Facebook. He wants it. Answer the camera if you recognize that there's a group here who wants to pay it forward once they got it. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to open up the questions. This is my favorite part of the week. We don't have all the coaches in here right now because they're in the room developing themselves. They're in there learning so that they can become masters of influence, so they can support and serve more people. So I want to open up the mics. Me and Terry will be here. We'll answer some questions. What are the biggest questions you have, or the things stopping you from moving forward? And one of the questions I got was, did I invite you to panelists on accident? No, everybody is welcome to be a panelist at this point in the show. We're here to open up the questions to serve. So unmute your mic and ask away.
Hey, how do you guys feel about educating during the sale process?
Necessary. So always educate. So the education is a sales process. So if we're talking about like a motivated seller, like we're in the house. So yeah, in order for me to sell, like the concept of working with me, I've got to kind of let them know the process of the close. Like how do they transfer the property to me? How do they transfer the title over? What is the steps that they got to take to get out of the property? You know, are they going to have to renovate? Probably not. Like if I buy it cash, I'm not going to have them renovate. Then what is the step? They got to get a quick claim deed. I got to give them money, and then they've got to leave. So like it's very simple. You got to educate the process. Why am I different from a realtor? Why am I different from a normal buyer? Well, I don't care, because I don't care about you doing anything in this property, because I'm going to do it. I want to do it my way. So I would rather pay you a little bit less. I'd rather pay you cash now so I can get in quicker and do the deal. Right? Like you got to educate, Kevin, because if you don't, people have all these question marks. They don't trust you. So you've got the right idea. And I know you educate. I know you share like why you're doing what you're doing, why it makes sense to work with you over somebody else. Like all of that education is also sales.
And we always talk about strategies too, right? I went through strategies yesterday with a lady where it was like, hey, you got this option here. You might have capital gains. How long you been in the property? Like, so it can get to that depth where it's like capital gains, where it's like, you know, maybe even be in the bank, and here we go. And sometimes it just seems like I can hit a yield, right? Like, oh, slow down here and end up taking a little bit too long here. But now it's just telling myself to gain back control, you know, because I think I could easily lose control of the conversation with educating, depending on how much, because I don't really want to talk too much. You know what I mean?
So
Yeah.
one of the things that I would think about is there's education, there's presentation, and then there's creating clarity. And when you move into presentation, you lose a lot of people very quickly because it's downloading of information, which really actually starts to create overwhelming feelings. And so it's a fire hose kind of thing.
Right.
And when you have a lot of information, that fire hose is very easy to do to people. And that's the presentation piece. When you're creating clarity, you're asking questions, which you actually alluded to, is like we were asking about what market they're in, that type of thing. When you're asking those clarifying questions, then you can give them the answers that help them to move towards decision. That's clarity and education happening the right way in a sales conversation to help them to move to decision. Because one of the big things in a sales conversation that we miss is we think it's about selling something. It's not. It's about helping them make the decision that they're going to be excited about. And so when we really start thinking about what we're attempting to do in a sale, I'm not attempting to get you, Kevin, to buy my shit. I'm getting you to get clear on what you want so you can understand if what I have to offer value-wise is what you're looking for. And if it is, then we can move into cost. We can move into what happens if you don't. We can move into really committing to the decision.
Yeah, and I want to emphasize what Terry just said, because in a sales situation, I'm qualifying you on whether you're the right client for my product. Right?
Absolutely.
I'm an investor. I buy real estate. Are you somebody who I can work with or not? That's what I want to know. Like, even with the coaching, I'm not saying, hey, I'm going to help you. I'm saying, what help do you need? Is it the kind that I provide? That's like what we're looking for when we serve somebody.
Absolutely. You're a little spotty, but yeah, we're getting it. And so I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna restate what Walter said. And here's the big deal. When I'm on a sales call with people, I'm not selling them into my program. What I'm doing is I'm qualifying them to see if they're going to be aligned with what I'm teaching, and the rest of my groups or the rest of the people that I'm working with, are they going to fit in with me? Because I like to make sure that everybody's rowing in the same direction, so to speak. And so a lot of people think, oh, well, I'm actually not wanting to buy something or something, and it turns the whole conversation on its head, so to speak. That I'm looking to see, Kevin, are you right for my program? Or Alicia, are you right for my program? Are you the type of people that have the same focus, the same vision as we do? Because we can work really well with you. But maybe you're not ready yet. Maybe you're not willing to do some of the things we're talking about. Maybe you're just not able to. You have too much on your plate, or you don't have enough capital to move in the direction that you need to, and you're too diffused on what you're doing. Well, when we have a sales conversation, those are the things we're looking for. And then, do we have actually what you're looking for? And so, is it a goodness of fit on both sides?
Are we getting
this? It's
this?
not just selling. Does that make sense?
100%. Definitely does. I've turned a little bit with my situation where it's like, I've flipped it a little bit and be like, they got to sell me their house.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. that's where you start to actually have a much stronger influence.
Right. And to be honest with you, I got to learn the art of shutting the fuck up. You know what I mean?
Amen, brother.
Thanks,
Amen.
guys. You guys are the best, man.
So I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce the name with the hand up.
Yeah, my name is Pankaj. How are you?
Pankaj, awesome. What you got going?
So my question is, I understand this millennial concept. Thanks to explain it. But question is that achievable through only one type of business using like just a passive income, or do we need to really flip it, wholesale it, and combine it together to make that kind of like a dream? Or it can be just achievable through passive income.
So when you're looking for passive income, let me just make sure that this question came through properly. So you're asking, is it possible to do it through any business, or is it only a specific business? Is that the question?
No, the question is real estate has like flipping, rental business, and sales and wholesale, and like tons of like concepts, right? So if I just adopt one at present time in like investing in real estate, that rental business, buying the rental properties, is that sufficient, or will that give the right momentum to move on to that what you're talking about, or I have to mix other
Excellent.
stuff into it?
Pankaj, I like that because I am a rental investor. I
Okay.
only buy rental property. I only buy the bigger the better rental property is possible. Now, have I occasionally flipped a property because I wanted cash immediately? Yes. Have
Okay.
I occasionally, just sold a piece of real estate, flipped the contract because I'm also an agent because I didn't want to buy the property, but I had an access to it? Yes. And if you have that mindset of I'm a buyer of real estate, I only buy to hold, and I just keep buying to hold, but you keep the funnel coming through, you just keep putting yourself in front of a lot of deals, you're going to have to flip, you're going to have to wholesale, you're going to have to use your agency license. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. I'm also a real estate agent, so I'm buying and selling here and there. But as I told you, like I want to move into that rental, buying the rental properties. Flipping, I am not comfortable. I don't know whether I should use it or not. But I can definitely try it if you suggest it.
Pankaj, I love it because me and my buddy Mitch Durfee last night, we were talking about this at the table. People were saying, well, should I flip or should I wholesale or should I buy rental property? And me and Mitch both said it almost at the same time. We're like, I fucking hate flipping real estate. I hate it, but I hate wholesaling even more, right?
Right.
I hate agency just as much, but I do it because I'm not going to throw money away. Like it's sitting right there. Like I had the deal, maybe it's not a good rental for me, or maybe I rented it out for a year or two, but now it's time to sell it. Right now, there's too much equity in it. I've got to sell the property. Most of my flips I've held for a year or two. In fact, me and Ron right now are holding 22 condos in inventory that we know we're going to sell. It's going to take us about 4 years to sell them because we're making cash flow off of them, but at the same time, they appreciated too much. We want to make sure we take that money and put it back into something else. There's no longer a good ROI on them because we have a mass amount of equity inside. So this is what you're looking for, my friend, is to acquire a whole bunch of real estate and occasionally be forced to sell it because there's too much equity. Now, what I mean by that is if I bought something with 10% down, now I have 10% equity in it. So we'll say I paid $1 million for it, that's $100,000, and it's bringing me back that 10% every year. So it's bringing me back maybe 100,000, it's bringing me back cash on cash. Let's say it's bringing me, $10,000 a year. I invested 100,000, I'm getting $10,000 a year. Awesome return on investment. Now, if the market appreciates 10% over the next 2 years, but I'm still only getting that $10,000 a year, I've got equity of $200,000 earning $10,000 a year, which is now a 5% return on investment. And we can see that the return on investment continues to decay if the equity in the property continues to go up. Is that making sense?
Yeah. So Walter, one more question on top of that. It's very good strategy. I really like it. But do we really need to sell it, or we can do the refinance cash out to
Excellent
invest?
question. Excellent question. We do the cash out refi if we want to keep the property. But as we continue to grow, we want to keep our portfolio simplified. So I no longer am interested in holding a couple of condos. I'm no longer interested in holding a couple of 3 families. I'd much rather have it be one building that's 50 units or one building that's 100 units. So as we get bigger, we also simplify the portfolio. It's not selling it because it doesn't cash flow. It's selling it because I just don't want to manage it anymore. It's too much work for how small it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So for at the early stage, great going, man. Just a couple of questions. I know that I'm taking time, but
hands to the camera if these are good questions. If you're gaining value from what his questions are, you're okay, my friend.
Okay. So my question is, at the early stage, right? At the very early stage, like I own only 17 units at this time. I'm just going very specific on this filter.
Very good.
At the early stage, do I really need to focus on like simplifying it, or do I really need to use a cash out plan like refinance and go for the bigger buildings? And once I buy the bigger buildings, once I settle those in, then I can start thinking of selling these out. What do you think? Which one is better
I
idea?
can already tell that you're not bothered by the portfolio you have. So a cash out refi makes the most sense until you get to the size where you start looking at certain buildings and you say, I don't like that building. It just doesn't give me the return that this building gives. Then you'll start saying, okay, I want to get rid of this one and I want to buy another one of these. So right now you're fine to do a cash out refi because you like everything you have. If you had something you didn't like, then that would be something you'd want to sell. If it wasn't bringing money in, if it wasn't giving a good return.
Got it. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Let's give him a round of applause. Great questions. Awesome.
Thank you, sir.
Of course, my friend. Of course. Glad to serve. What else? What other questions do we have? Or comments or shares? And 17 units is good, right? Hands to the camera if you wish you had 17 units. Hell yeah. There's always somebody who's got a little more than somebody else. So you're doing awesome, my friend.
Thank you. And actually, I bought it in like 2017. Those are already doubled. So that's why I was asking those questions.
Exactly.
What to do?
When buy the real estate, hold it long enough, it goes up in value. Buy the real estate, hold it long enough, it goes up in value. Then you have problems like the one we're discussing right now. These are good problems. What do I do with all the money I'm sitting on? Should I refi or should I sell the building? Should I buy something else? Awesome. I love being able to have these kind of conversations. And I want you to, everybody listening, to have these problems. I want you to have good problems. Hands if you'd like more problems like Pankaj is talking about today. Yes, we can get there, right? We can get rich people problems. It's so easy. Just buy some real estate and you'll create some problems for yourself. What else? David James, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, brother.
Oh, great. Hey, I just want to say thank you guys for having this, and it's a valuable resource. I guess my first question would be, well, I already have one rental property. I started in 2020, and I'm looking for my second one. My long-term plan for my second one is I'm going to do a 1031 exchange. So I just wanted to get your insight on that. Any pitfalls that you guys have experienced or anything?
No, man. 1031 exchange is a good opportunity. The only thing I would do is line something up before you start the 1030, before you sell the other property. Make sure you have a bird in the bag, a bird in the hand before you go and sell the one you've already got.
Right, because you got what, 45 days, I think it is, before what?
45 days to identify 3 properties.
Okay.
Which is nice, but you've got to be able to lock them down. You got 180 days to close, which seems easy, but I have missed the 1031 exchange 2 times in my career because of not being able to line it into something else. And my 1031 coach told me this. He said, you don't 1031 to buy shit, right? You don't 1031 to buy garbage is what he's talking about. Like, you don't just do it for the sake of doing it. Sometimes it makes sense just to take the cash, pay the tax bill, and, you know, roll it into a good property or a different opportunity. So identify something that would be totally worth it for you, David, and then set up, you know, put your property on the market, 1031. But buy the property first. I like identifying first in a seller's market.
Okay. So that whole amount that you sell your one for, that goes as a down payment, if I'm understanding that correctly?
You could do a partial 1031. Like if you want to keep some money, you want to pay taxes on some money, you could do a partial 1031 exchange. But otherwise, it's just a traditional 1031 exchange. All of your money is going to go into the next property. It has to be like kind, and it has to be like or greater value. So you have to be taking on either the same amount of debt or more debt.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because what I'm thinking about is upscaling, like going from a duplex to a tri or a quadplex. So
David just said going from a duplex to 20 units, right, David?
That's what I heard.
well, that sounds even better. Yeah.
Good man.
All right. That's all I got. Thank you.
Why not? And you can 1031 with a partner too, David. So if you want to go for those 20 units and you had, say, you're bringing like $200,000 or $300,000 from your 1031 exchange or whatever the dollar amount is, as long as your partner is bringing something to the table as well that matches, you can do bigger deals.
Oh, okay. That sounds great.
Your piece is just going to be tax deferred.
Yeah, right.
So your amount of the deal is tax deferred. So a lot of different ways to do a 1031.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Very welcome, my friends. Is this valuable for everybody? These are kind of, unique questions for real estate investors, but that's what we are. We're real estate investors. We're business owners. So any question that would help you move forward, if you're at that stage, you need these questions, we're here to answer. And if you're not at that stage,
wait, give me 5 minutes.
Okay, Melissa.
Sorry. Hi, sorry, my dad just walked in. Quick question. You were talking about the 1031. If you were to do a 1031, and I understand it has to be of equal or greater value, but can you combine 2 properties instead of just one?
Yes. So I had, we've done this multiple times, especially for Boston investors buying in Fall River. So I had one investor who's duplex, by the way. This is, guys, listen to this. You can buy a 2-family in Boston 10 years ago for $250,000 and sell it for $1.5 million if it was in the right place. So he sold this duplex and he came down to Fall River and bought 36 units. 36 units, multiple sellers. He had to build a portfolio and locked everything down, and he ended up closing and turned one duplex into 36 cash flowing units.
Wow, that's amazing.
The story
That's
of appreciation, terrific. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And this is, by the way, you don't invest like this as a strategy. You're not looking for the appreciation, although you do always want to buy property in areas that could likely appreciate, that do cash flow. The idea is that if something does appreciate to that level, you have to sell it. You have to sell it and roll it into more cash flow opportunities. That's the principle here. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
You're trying to say that once it is like in a particular area, you will know that there is saturation point. So once those properties reach to the saturation, and we know that, okay, those will be growing like little by little, year by year, because they already appreciated to the max. That is the time to sell it out, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And the reason we sell it instead of refinance is they typically don't cash flow at a refi, right? Like in those appreciation markets, if you were to cash refi it all the way up to the max value, it's probably going to be negative cash flow. That's why we sell them at that point, in order to just recapture everything and roll it into something that's going to be a much better cash flow position. We could take more debt out on it.
Can you explain with like numbers over here, please? That will really help us.
Yeah. So if it's not giving at least a 12% cash on cash return, it's not worth talking about. I prefer a 25% cash on cash return. So as soon as my investment is getting to the point where it's diminished returns, like 8% or 6% based on equity in the property, I have to now think this property is suspect. This property is no longer delivering a high return. So we start thinking about velocity of money. Speed to return of money is more important than just cash flow. So if the property it's diminishing its return on investment, I now have to, it's my responsibility as the investor to say, well, if I've gained, my equity gain has been 20%, it's time for take that 20% and roll it into something that's gonna be able to cash flow and increase the velocity of money, keep moving it, speeding it up. I don't know if that helped. This is kind of, it really makes more sense to kind of map
It's
out on paper.
Yeah, making sense.
Okay.
So you're talking about like the equity, like whatever the equity level you have, and that is not that if you have that equity, that is your cash, right? And that is
Yeah.
not giving you at least 12 or 15% cash on cash, or maybe 20% cash on cash, then you should 1031 exchange that, right?
100%, my friend. Very good.
Yeah. Okay,
Very
thank
good.
you,
And
sir.
every year in this past market, we've seen the equity keep going up, which means our cash on cash kept going down. So we've been turning our properties a little bit more than we normally would. But we've been picking up a lot more cash flow by doing that.
Got it. Thank you.
Awesome. Very good questions. And this is, man, I could talk forever on this strategy. Me and Ron, every week we talk about 4 hours on these exact strategies because, you know, it's just so much fun to look at each individual property and see where it's going, what it's doing, and whether it's at that point. We have a rule of thumb. If I can't get my money back in 4 years or 5 years, then I'm going to hold the property. If it takes me 4 or 5 years to get my money back, cool, I'll hold it on cash flow. But if it can make me, if I can't get the money back faster, if it's going to take 10 years for me to get the money back that I'm earning, that my net worth already has, I'm going to sell the property. Right? If my net worth, return on investment, like the current rents, take 4 years to get to its equity level, I will keep and hold it. But if it gets over the 5-year mark, if like some of the properties we sold, it would take me 10 years of cash flow to earn the amount of equity I'm about to get in one day. I'm going to sell that property. I'm time traveling 5 years extra into the future. We're catching this? But it's actually 10 years into the future because I'm collecting 10 years worth of rents on that property today by selling it. So those are kind of the rules of thumb that we look at is if I can get into the future, I'm going into the future.
Good.
Velocity again, velocity, speed to cash, speed of the investment. But I never want to remove my cash flow position. I always want some asset that's cash flowing because if the market goes and shoots up and I can't buy any more assets, I don't want to be without cash flow. So we're always holding inventory. We're always holding something that cash flows. We're getting this? Like these past couple of years, I'm so thankful that we held as much as we did because it was very tempting just to say, man, sell, like it's going up too fast. We got to sell everything. We have a hold point where half our portfolio is held and we kind of stayed at that spot. Otherwise, we'd be at 100 units right now, but we slowly dropped stuff off as we saw the market continue to skyrocket. We've slowly gotten rid of things. If it wasn't skyrocketing, we'd be at 100 units holding. This making sense?
Yep.
So tough decision. You know, we sat on a lot of cash. We're still sitting on a lot of cash. But at the end of the day, it feels like the right position. You know, we're doing a $8 million redevelopment in the city of Fall River right now that looks like a $4 million equity position on it when we're done, like because we've just been paying attention. You know, we've gone into something that is pretty much recession proof, except for I will say it's maybe not COVID proof. There's not much that's COVID proof other than Zoom, but it's pretty much recession proof because everybody needs to feed and eat and everybody needs to get together. It's very similar to what Kim's doing down in West Virginia. These projects make sense as investors right now. You know, make your money, my friends. There's so much money out there. There's so much money. I mean, I have never seen this much money in the market since I've been alive. We've just never had so much abundance, so many different people looking to invest in real estate passively, like giving money away, like just being like, take my money, invest. There's so many people with a hole burning it, like money burning a hole in their pockets right now. They want people like you who are talented, who are skilled, who know how to find deals, know how to invest in deals. They're begging to, like, every day I get people saying, hey, can I get into one of your deals? Can I get to one of your deals? Will you let me invest in one of your deals? And every day I'm saying, look, I'm not taking on investors right now. I don't have a need for investors. If you want something, join Alchemist Nation. You can work with one of my investors in the community. But for me personally, like my deals are funded. I've got my capital investors. We put our money in and we're rolling our money that already exists because we're pretty clever, right? We don't really need outside cash to do what we're doing. But Hanson Cameron, if you in the room would like some outside cash to do what you're doing, you still would like those partners. So yeah, see what I'm saying? Like I still got the people who will do the work. Like there's still people out there who are willing to do the work and connect deals. So don't worry, guys. There's so much money in the market. Oh my God. It blows my mind. I just never seen it like this. Questions? Any other questions? Because I do got to get down to Doug, and me and Terry want to get back to that room. Go ahead, Melissa.
I have a quick question. Frank, is he doing loans for commercial?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So Frank, the only loans we don't do are owner occupied loans. We
Okay.
will not do owner occupied loans, but everything that's investment, we can go up to, I want to say 25 million on our deals, on our loans.
Okay, I'll contact Frank directly.
Absolutely.
And a quick thought, with the inflation only rising and rising and rising and rates going higher and higher and higher, what do you see for the next year?
Excellent. So next year, I see a continued inflation on real estate. We are in a deflationary period for stocks and crypto right now. You see the stocks have dropped down, the crypto has dropped down. So we are in a deflationary period for them. For real estate, our deflationary period is coming. I'm looking at 2024. We may see signs of the market cracking in 2023, but this next year, there's really, like, unless the Fed is able to pull off a four time drop in the market, if they're able to get to 1% increase in price, which they won't be able to. They said it 2 years ago, they said it 3 years, that they kept wanting to try to do it. They'd raise 1/4 a point, then they raised 1/4 a point. The market just fell out underneath them, which it's doing right now. And then they started reducing again. This is my theory of what's going to happen. I may be wrong. Either way, it doesn't change our philosophy. Buy cash flowing assets. Buy cash flowing assets. If they appreciate, high fives. We'll sell them. We'll refinance them. If they go down in value, we'll continue to rent them out. High fives. We win either way because we buy cash flowing assets. If the assets don't cash flow, wholesale them. Be a real estate agent, broker them out, flip them, right? Ladies and gentlemen, we are cash flow asset purchasers. We make money in this market. We make money in the next market. We make money in the past market because we buy assets that cash flow. We find ways to cash flow. We change our assets usage to cash flow more, right? Every one of you is in a market where somebody like me is making a ton of money. Every one of you knows somebody like me who just went out and said, I don't care what it takes. I'm gonna put 1,000 offers in if that's what it takes. And I'm going to find out one person who's willing to sell me that one deal. That's the only deal I need this year. And that one deal is going to change the game. Roger Andrews, man, how many units do you pick up in the last 24 months, right? The last 2 years have been insane. I think the last 12 months have been insane for you.
Yeah, just over 100 units.
Over 100 units. Went from, it was under 10 units, right, Roger? You were under 10 units?
Exactly.
Explosion, because he just, something snapped in his head and he realized the truth. That's all that happened. He realized the truth. He started thinking in 100 unit like concept, picking up 20 units, 40 units at a time. Hands cam, if you realize that the people around you are doing it because of not their skill, but because of a decision to do it. A decision, right? Roger, when he runs into a problem, before he would do nothing about it. And then what changed is he said, he'd reach out to me or he'd reach out to somebody else and be like, hey, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? Because he now wanted to do it. He believed it was possible. Nothing could stop him. To this day, nothing can stop him. So he just figures it out because he wants it bad enough. Each one of you, up until now, up until this point, has only ever thought about, look around, what you got. That's it. Whatever you got right now is all you've ever thought about with a burning desire. If somebody took, Victor, I see you on the call, right? If somebody took your fireplace TV from behind you right now, they took it out of your house, you'd be pissed off, you'd buy that thing again, right?
Probably.
Yeah, because it's yours, right? It's what you believe is yours. If I tomorrow lost all 50 units, you better believe my ass would be on fire. I would be out there grinding, making calls, trying to find people to sell me their properties. And I'd probably go heavier than 50 units because I'd be pushing so hard, the universe would move more towards me. Does that make sense?
So one of the things I'd like to add is we all get into this idea of figuring it out. And I bring this topic up and bring this term up because it is something that slips out of our mouth from time to time. But if you hear yourself saying you're figuring it out, it's kind of like figuring out a math problem. You're trying to do the math on it. You're overthinking, because the fact of the matter is, when I got a question, I reach out to Walter, or I reach out to Doug, or I reach out to one of the other coaches, I do not figure anything out. I find out, because I don't need to figure shit out. I need to find out from somebody who has the answer. And this is one of the biggest pieces of gold that you can do as somebody who's trying to grow, is stop trying to figure everything out. Stop trying to do it yourself. Build a team of people around you that know more than you, and go find out the answers so you can implement them. Figuring it out is a no-sum, zero-sum game. You will not get anything out of figuring it out other than losing time. Find out. And how for me is an acronym: honest, open, willing. Find out, and then put that information into play, and you're going to find yourself growing way faster.
I love this, because me and Terry have been like, this whole morning, this whole weekend, we've been talking about like, how do we move people forward faster? How do we get them to buy $1 million worth of real estate quicker, faster, more effectively? I want anybody on here who is having any struggle, any thought, even if you're committed and I just want you to message me on Alchemist Nation. I'm going to drop the link right now. Message me on there and say, I am going to do it. This might be a challenge, or this might be an opportunity, or this is how I'm going to do it. I don't care if you already know. I don't care if you don't know. Just send me a message. I want communication with, if you know you're making $1 million. And Karen, if you know you can do this, if you're committed, let's just pretend that this is the only step you had to take to make $1 million. Just build that relationship with me. Be able to ask me questions. Be able to have a relationship and a conversation. If that was the only thing that made you successful, is it worth doing it right now, taking that action? If all it took was you sending one message to me every week, just saying, I'm still committed to making $1 million. If that was what it took to make you successful, would you be willing to do that? Let's just pretend that's all it took. Because by the way, that's all it takes. Anybody who's been around me long enough eventually makes $1 million. You just stick, and the more intense the relationship, the more money you make. Ask Mike Shine about it, right? Mike Shine literally texts me every single day. And because of that, for the last 2 years, he's made more money than he's ever made in his entire life. He said it today at Master of Influence. He said it while we were in the room. I asked him, I was like, Mike, the last 5 years, you've made more money than you've made in your entire life. He said, Walter, the last 2 years. And I asked him, I was like, what do you attest that to? And he said, our relationship, this right here. I'm offering that to you, right? Some of you may not accept because you don't think you deserve it. I'm telling you, it doesn't really matter. I don't care whether you deserve it or not. I'm still going to build a relationship. Is that okay? Right? Whether you believe you deserve it does not matter to me. Because the truth is, everybody deserves $1 million. And like I said, I wish I had $1 million a week earlier. I swear to God, I wish I had it a week earlier. You know how many people I would have helped if I had $1 million a week earlier? Right? This call right here, we had 55 people on the call. Imagine one more week worth of promotion, one more week worth of putting out ads and like serving more people. Just imagine what one more week could have done. Right? I'm going to live the same amount of time. Imagine how much I could have done if one more week I had to do that big thing. We're getting this? And I'm just one person. What about you? What about you're capable of? How many people could you help and support if you had the financial freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want? You know, I didn't become an influencer until I had become financially free, but I've been financially free for the last 5 years. Actually, I'm going to be, goddamn, I'm getting old. I'm going to be 36 in 22 days. All right. So now I'll be like, okay, I've been financially free for 6 years. All right. Financially free, retired for 6 years. In those 6 years, I've changed thousands of people's lives, thousands. From just going and paying it forward and doing what I'm doing. And I've paid to get better at this because I got the money to do it. Right? I talk about it all the time. I paid $130,000 to learn how to teach, to learn how to train and give back and, you know, be at this, like the same level that Terry's at, you know, and Terry's paid even more than I have. He's paid over $200,000 to be a great trainer and teacher the way he does what he does, because we believe in it. Like if we're going to earn money, the best money I want to earn is through doing what I believe in, right? Doing something I'm passionate about, teaching, sharing, guiding. I could teach math, right? Sure. I could teach science. I love science too, but wealth building has changed my life. So that's what I want to teach. Does that make sense? Man, like I'm obsessed with it. I am so obsessed with education. I study psychology, so I hang with Terry. Terry teaches me the psychology of the human mind. right? I love the crypto now because I see it as an opportunity to make a lot of money for people. And so I spend a lot of time with Mitch Jorsky learning crypto. Mitch Durfee, like I've spent a lot of time last night talking about affiliate marketing in Amazon stores because I'm absolutely obsessed with, is this something I could teach people? Because if people can learn it and they can make a lot of money, then I want to learn it, or I want to get somebody who's a master at it to teach and share. We're getting this, right? It's okay to be obsessed. Look, I think it's perfectly fine as long as what you're obsessed with helps a lot of people. As long as what you're doing is out there serving, like it's okay to get obsessed. I got an addictive personality. I know that about me. So I just make sure that the only things I get addicted to are beneficial for me and the people that I'm around. And I love education. I love serving. I love learning. I love seeing your stories. So please send me a message. So how do you message me? Is that the question? How do we text you? I just dropped the link on Alchemist Nation. If you go over to my profile, go to members or go to my profile. I'm the top member. I'm the one who puts the most posts on the platform. So outdo me. Somebody try to outdo me on the platform. Go for it. But I'm the top member. Just go to members, go to Gwalter, and then go to the little chat button. Then go to the chat window, send me a message. That goes directly to my phone. So I can respond to that all day. Hands to the camera if you're getting this. It's easy to message me. That's right, Melissa. Thank you. That's right. 36, still a baby. I'm just getting started, right? I got an unfair advantage. This 36-year-old baby started with $4 million at his back and 7 years of personal development, right? All this real estate, this beautiful community of motivated, dedicated, loyal, ethical, moral people who do things legally, who are intelligent, who've built wealth for themselves, who've gotten good at certain things, are willing to share. We are unstoppable. This is Alchemist Nation for a reason, right? We turn people into gold. We take people out of their depression, their despair and disbelief and scarcity. We move them to a state of abundance, peace, power, awareness, guidance. As a team, we do it together, right? The 100 millionaires who are inspired to build 100 millionaires was a vision. It was an idea, and it's become a way of life. It's become a mission far beyond any of us. We're a team doing it together. We couldn't do it alone, right? If I tried to do it alone, look, I'd get a couple people. But with each one of you inspired, serving, and helping, and we said it last night, if it wasn't for the coaches being a part of this, I don't think that this would have helped as many people. You need different voices. You need to hear the women talking about their success. You need to hear the guys talking about what they've done. You need to hear the young kids, right? We got 21-year-old millionaires who come in and they're like, well, this is what I did. It's like, holy crap. Like maybe I'm making excuses. If this kid could do it, right? And then we've got older people who just came in and just started. And they're like, well, this is what I've done. Look at Mike Shine, right? Out of nowhere, just out of left field. Suddenly 60 years old, but out of left field, made more money in the last 2 years than he's ever made his entire life. And it's Karen, if these stories motivate you, if you're seeing like real people seeing their success, being able to talk and ask them how they did it helps, of course, right? I'm only one person, but I've done it a lot of different ways. Yeah, we have 7 streams of income, over 16 different businesses, and this is how I choose to spend my time. Every Saturday, I'll be with you guys. Every Saturday, like I've got an event I want to be at right now. I plan on only being up here for 30 minutes doing this and then bouncing down to get to that event. But if you ask good questions, man, I'm here to serve, right? Terry's here. Look, he's still on the call with us. All right, we're here to serve. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the opportunities. Everything that you look at, like tear the website apart. Alchemist Nation, tear it apart. Tell me the problems because I will fix them. That's my commitment, right? Me and Ron have spent years in the IT world. Like we have partners who spend years in the IT world. This is what we've always done. We built lead gen systems. We built websites, and we've been doing this for years. And now we're finally working on a project that like hits me in the heart, that makes me say, man, this could really change the world. This could really make a difference. So all of your questions, things you think are missing, things that you don't like, things that you think are working really well, share them with us on Alchemist Nation. Send me a message. I will continue to work on it. I keep hiring the team. Everything I make on the mentorship, right? Every dollar that comes through in the education company, you're all my investors, right? I appreciate you. You've invested in us. You've invested in yourself. And we're investing in other people. We're taking that money. We're building systems, building programs, marketing. We're bringing people in to test it out, see if it works. So thank you, right? We intend to be the biggest, the best education platform on the planet. And we're doing it through offering free, the highest quality, free education to as many people as possible. Everybody else is looking to make a buck. Look, we made our bucks already. That's the difference between us. We're on a mission. and a mission is unstoppable. How do we educate 1 billion people? How do we educate the planet to pull them out of fear and suffering and scarcity? How do we push forward with what we have, a gift of a community of people who want to pay it forward, who want to give back? How do we share that abundance with the world? We do it together. We do it in little things. We first build our wealth so we can have a story, so that we can share with other people. We ask questions, we develop our minds, we develop ourselves, we develop our souls. And then when we feel confident that we've gotten to that level, we learn how to teach, we learn how to share, we learn how to educate. Just the same path that I followed. Each one of you has your own path. I want to be there to serve. I want to be there to make sure you get to where you want to go. Hands to the camera if you're committed to building 100 millionaires who are inspired to build 100 millionaires. Hell yeah. Hands to the camera if you recognize that you have what it takes to think $1 million, to build the lifestyle that you deserve, that your family deserves, that your community deserves. Hell yeah. Give yourselves a round of applause. I love and appreciate each one of you. Your struggle, your journey is going to be your success story. It is going to be what motivates other people. So even if it sucks sometimes, shoot me a message. I'm here for you. Even if it's awesome sometimes, shoot me a message. I'm here to remind you it could be rough again. If it's working well or it's working bad or you got questions, we're here to support you one way or the other. Let us be a part of your journey so that I can have bragging rights when you're rich. Does that make sense? I just want to tell a couple people that I built 100 millionaires. Is that all right with you? Help me do that. I appreciate it. Your success is my success. I will see you guys in the next one. The point is not to work, it's to generate income. Cheers to your success. We have a choice. Always work with the best.
Always work with the best, the best, the best, the best.
See you guys in
Thank
Alchemy
you.
Station. You're welcome. Thank you.